Hello, art students. This is the video on AP Studio Art drawing portfolios. We are going to look at several sustained investigation examples. So we're going to go to the first slide, and I'm going to read you the slide with some information. This is kind of a review of the last couple lessons. So make sure that you have gone back and you have looked at the scoring rubric, that you have downloaded it, and that you have read over it and circled or highlighted those key terms. Those are called scoring descriptors, and that's what the people who score your portfolio will be looking for. And we call those judges readers. So when I say reader, I'm talking about the people that will look at your portfolio and give it a score. If you did not watch my video about scoring, go back so that you understand the difference between the different levels and how common they are. And so for most portfolios, you're going to get a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. A perfect score is a 6, and that is extremely rare. Like out of 48,000 portfolios, like 25 students got a 6. That kind of rare. This series of videos will show you a range of different portfolios so that you will kind of know what different types, what different styles, what different mediums can be used, and then also what different scores look like. So a concentration or a sustained investigation is a body of related works describing an in-depth exploration of a particular artistic concern. You're going to turn in 15 images. So it would probably be good to make 15 pieces of art. If you have 12 pieces of art and you have several experiments or studies or sketchbook pages that relate to your portfolio, then that is also something that can be used in your portfolio. So you should reflect a process of investigation of a specific visual idea. Later on in the semester, we will actually talk more about inquiry, and we will come up with guiding questions to help guide your investigation. At the end, we will check to make sure that these questions actually match what you made, and if not, we will adjust the questions accordingly. A concentration is not a selection of a variety of works produced as solutions to class projects. That is why I will only give you 2 assigned projects. In AP Art, those 2 projects that we do at the beginning of the semester will go into your quality if they are good. So we'll talk more about the quality or the selected works later on in the semester, because you can double dip from your sustained investigation into your selected works, so they can go in both sections. So if you just focus on making 12 to 15 really good pieces of art, then we can fill in the rest of your portfolio. You can also use work that you've made in previous years in your selected works section of your art portfolio. Sorry, I thought I had my phone on silent. A concentration or sustained investigation is not a collection of work with different intents, so don't be random. It is something where you should explore a personal central interest as intensively as possible. Notice the word personal there. So even if a topic is a good topic, or if a topic is trendy right now, if it is not something that personally affects you and is something that you can genuinely talk about, it is not a good idea to explore that for your portfolio. So I personally like to make art about feminism and women's rights because I am a woman. But if I was a man, that would be a little bit weird. If you like a topic because your best friend is passionate about it, I'm sorry, but that's not a good topic for the AP portfolio. Pick something that is personal to you. You are free to work with any idea in any medium that addresses 2-dimensional design issues or mark making. So think about this in this way. You there's no limit to what you're allowed to do for AP. So you don't have to shy away from a specific topic just because you don't feel like it is school appropriate. This is a college level course and you are supposed to be making college level art. So there isn't really anything that is considered unacceptable there. So if you need to show certain things that you would not put in a high school art show, that is fine for AP as long as it is done in a tasteful and sophisticated way and it's not just trying to be edgy and teenagery, if you know what I mean. Then you also can use any type of medium or any type of style. So there's not any preference there. So every once in a while, I see a student or a teacher that thinks that something like, for example, anime is not acceptable. Anime is acceptable if it's done in a very skilled way. So that style is fine. Then every once in a while, you have a student that thinks that maybe markers are not the right kind of medium. You have to use oil paint. That is not true. You can use any type of medium. The main thing you need to focus on there is make sure that you are skilled in whatever you are using and whatever style you choose to do. Work should grow out of your idea and demonstrate growth and discovery through conceptually related work. So you can kind of morph your idea through the semester. You can also work with different mediums throughout the semester. You don't have to stick to the same medium the whole time. You just want all of your pieces to look like the same person did all of them. Readers are interested not only in the work presented, but also in the visual evidence of your thinking, selected method of working, and development of the work over time. So all that research that you're doing in your sketchbook, document that because that is something that readers are interested in seeing as well. The examples in this slideshow don't have a ton of that, but I will definitely be showing you student work in the future that includes some documentation of their development of their idea. All right, so this first portfolio, the theme is mundane tasks. So think about all the mundane things that you do every day. And this is the first set of images, and this is the second set of images, which I'm covering with my head. All right, so there is their entire concentration, and this made a score of 4 in 2004, and I feel like that score is pretty accurate. So good use of color, very good use of media, and definitely shows mundane tasks. There maybe could have been a couple adjustments made on their composition, and that is probably why they made a 4 and not a 5. All right, let's look at this student's concentration. So this is their statement or their reflective writing that they did at the end. And this is also something that the readers look at and factor into your score. So this student said, through my concentration pieces, I attempted to display the seemingly mundane tasks of everyday life and make them seem more special and important. By utilizing a wide range of bright colors, the ordinary daily activities people perform, eating, sleeping, shaving, become essentially more eye-catching, demanding a closer look. For one reason or another, I find myself surveying the human figure, tracing what I see with a mental finger, outlining a shoe or a hand. Also, I chose to focus on people in their daily routines in order to capture an element which is essentially private because I feel a close contact with those that I paint. Artists such as Vermeer and Hopper, who have great importance to domestic and private activities, serve as a source for these ideas. I wanted to use a wide range of colors to give each painting personality, a flair, a jolt, and colors are simply more fun. So this summary or reflective statement has a couple areas for growth that also might have helped this portfolio just a little bit. And this is the kind of thing that if I notice this when reading your statements, I will definitely point it out to you. But this student kind of like gets a little bit too personal. Like, why do we care if you find yourself tracing what you see with the mental finger, outlining a shoe or hand. Like that's a little bit out there. It doesn't really tie into their portfolio. I think that they should have started with the sentence, I chose to focus on people in their daily routines in order to capture an element which is essentially private. Put a period there. And then instead of going into that statement about feeling close contact, like that's a good sentence, keep that in there for later, but use the word voyeur. Because if you use the word voyeur, that's going to automatically bring some more poignant images to mind of like an artist who's kind of like voyeuristically looking at people. And then everyone who's an artist understands that term. And so your reader is going to automatically have a lot more associations without you having to go into this whole long sentence about using a mental finger. And so I would just use the word voyeur there and kind of get to the meat of your portfolio a lot faster. And then I would put in the stuff there about feeling close contact with your subjects. That is fine. The reference to famous artists, that's good. They probably should have also referenced pop artists like Andy Warhol, because that was definitely, you know, something that the bright colors were reminiscent of. There are several other artists that make really brightly colored works like that. So that would have been good. Also at the end, when they say, I wanted to use a wide range of colors to give each painting personality or flair, a jolt. I don't know, that gets a little bit weird. I would probably just pick one of those words and go with it. I think they tried to get a little bit too conversational there. So I'm being nitpicky here, but just know that I will get that nitpicky with your writing, and I will do that on purpose so that I can help your writing be better. I read a lot of these, so I kind of know what they should say. And so I can help you, you know, edit it down to exactly what the readers want to hear. All right, the second portfolio that we're going to look at is mechanical objects. So these are drawings that a student did of mechanical objects, and their drawings are so good and detailed and realistic that they defied the medium. So I think that they used colored pencil in this portfolio, but it is hard to tell because the drawings are so photorealistic. This student received a 6, and I think rightly so. Their topic is clear and the use of medium is impeccable. This one has the rationale for the score. So it says, in this portfolio, the student presents a thorough investigation of the structure of mechanical objects through selective drawing. This student's informed understanding of contrast, relationships is stylistically confident and consistent. Definitely both of those. Form is rendered by the student's close attention to structure and detail and is presented in varying perspectives. So they're not always showing us the exact same perspective of everything. Color is used for emphasis and facilitates visual movement. That is also very true. The student's highly developed drawing skills are technically consistent throughout this body of work. So if you show growth, that is great. If you are perfect at drawing the entire time, that is also great. What they don't want to see is that your skills are kind of like lackluster, and then they never get any better. But it is okay if your skills are perfect at the beginning and they stay perfect the whole time. So don't feel like you have to make a bad piece just to show fake growth. So I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. All right, so this student said about their concentration, their central idea was, my concentration is on mechanical objects. The subject matter in my pieces ranges from cars to hacksaws to speakers. I chose this focus because I wanted to take a break from the everyday portraits and do something I find interesting. The development of my pieces was a long process because I first had to find my objects and then execute them in a very creative and distinguished manner. Most of the subject matter I chose is either my belongings or objects I have seen somewhere else. Well, what else would they be? But anyways, then they said all of my concentrations are done in pencil or acrylic paint. So there's your answer. From the beginning of my pieces, I used pencil because I was more drawing oriented. but then orientated. Oh, okay, so that's what it says when it's spelled incorrectly. But they just put it in there exactly how the student wrote it. Then as I got more practice with paint, my pieces progressed into realistic, vivid works. In the end, I am proud of my pieces and happy with the way they turned out. So even though that there are a few errors in this, all right, there are a couple words that are incorrect, like it's oriented, not orientated. And then that is the wrong way to spell brake. That's like a car brake, not like a break that you take in something. So both of those are, errors in the writing, but because the drawings are so perfect, the students still made a 6. Now I think they would get a 5 because they say that they are really looking at the writing now. But I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, because I mean, look at the students' artwork. It is amazing. So they might still make a 6, even though there are a couple errors there. If I was the student's teacher and I was reading what they wrote, I would also point out that sentence I made fun of earlier. If the object doesn't, belong to you, then you have to have seen it somewhere else. So that's like a pointless sentence. So I would, like put one or the other, or just take that sentence out entirely. So another thing about the AP portfolio is don't feel like you have to write a lot. Don't put extra sentences in there that are just going to distract from your point. So yes, like write how much they tell you to write, but also this is not English class. I don't just like throw sentences in there that don't matter. The focus is on your artwork. All right, and we're going to stop there for today, and catch me in the next video. I'll talk about 2 more drawing and 2D design portfolios, and I'm doing a combination.